All right. Hi, everybody. So my name is Jennifer Ramirez, and I am the founder and executive director of the nonprofit organization And Rise. At And Rise, we believe women thrive on building and sustaining strong connections with one another, some of which assist in forming our futures. In order to help facilitate these bonds, we are passionate about highlighting inspirational stories of triumph and motivate all that attend our events to accomplish any and everything they want in life. To learn more about And Rise and how we empower trauma survivors, please visit our website at www.womenrisechicago.org. A little bit about myself: I'm a sexual abuse survivor. I was abused at the age of 7 by a close family member, and I went through life not realizing that most of the bad decisions I made as a young adult were attributed to the abuse I endured. My abuser is a narcissist, and I was in toxic relationship after toxic relationship with narcissistic men. I used to settle for men who treated me badly, cheated on me, used me, and abused me emotionally, physically, and financially. I had low self esteem, didn't believe in myself, didn't love myself, and I didn't think I deserved any better than what I was used to. I was also poor, was living paycheck to paycheck, $25,000 in credit card debt, living in a really bad neighborhood, and I had major anger issues. But eventually, I grew tired of being unhappy and living a negative lifestyle, and I wanted a change in my life. I had to really dig deep within myself to understand the negativity in my life, and I made a conscious effort to break cycles. It was not easy, and it did not happen overnight, but I was determined to live a better life for myself and my daughter. I began reading self help books and going to therapy, which helped me immensely. And once I started becoming in tune with that inner voice, call it God, call it intuition, call it the universe, if you will, everything started becoming so clear. Once my healing began, I knew I wanted to help other women by sharing my story with them. Because of everything I went through, sexual abuse is a topic that is near and dear to my heart, and it is my mission to bring more awareness, education, and to change the stigmas around sexual abuse. And I am so very excited to introduce you to entrepreneur, speaker, and educator, Megan Dorsey. Welcome, Megan.
Hi. Hi, guys. Wow. Every time I hear your story, I know I've
Hi.
heard it already. It's just so amazing. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
Mhm.
and thank you for being with me here today and talking with me. And you also have a very great story. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and go ahead and share your story?
Yeah, thank you for having me. So I teach people about money, entrepreneurship, and success principles, and how to have a happier, better life and relationship with other things. And so, and then on the other side, I also have discovered that I really want to help people with self-love and battling self-sabotaging and self-abuse. And the reason why I want to do that is because I engaged a lot with emotional and mental self-abuse and self-sabotaging. And honestly, sometimes I still do it. Like last week, I did something that was self-sabotaging, and we're constantly having to grow, and that's okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. So that's kind of why I'm here today to tell you a little bit about my story. So um, from the time I was 11, I think it started around 11 to 24, and that's a huge gap.
Hmm.
So, and in between that, I had a ton of anxiety. It was personal anxiety, social anxiety, and I always was so afraid of being a failure and not being enough and whatnot, and not being pretty enough and being too embarrassing and not cool enough, and all of these things inside. And so I battled with that. And I think so. I when I was younger, I really wanted to be an actress, and um, and so by the time I was 18, I realized that there was so much judgment and so much like riskiness in that business and all of that, and I realized I couldn't be a part of that industry. And so when I was 18, I knew I had to grow up, I had to graduate, I had to go into college and into the adult world, I had to figure out my finances, I had to figure out how to make money, and all of these things came to me, and I was so depressed. I had friends that weren't really treating me the best way, and and the world just like had so much weight on my shoulders. And so I felt like I couldn't handle the reality. I couldn't handle the adult world, and I was so scared and so terrified, that I just wanted to cover up in my bed and under the covers, and wait for the world to come to me and to help me out. I always felt that I was the victim, that everyone needed to help me. And
Yeah.
um, so I indulged in a lot of those thoughts and feelings. And around 19, I hated being so sad all the time and just hating my life and loathing myself, which is so crazy that we do that to ourselves. And so then around 19, I tried to ask for help. I asked my friends, and my friend said, "Oh, you're crazy. You might be bipolar," which I'm not. She just didn't understand and was young. And so but around 22, I searched for therapy, and I wanted so badly to be happy and so badly to be free of my what was going on in here. And so I found a therapist that was really, really helpful. So it took time. It really, really took time, and I had to actually want to change and actually put some actions into actions. You know what I mean? And
Right.
so so yeah, around 22 is when I really, really, really decided that I wanted to change things up. And I met this guy, and he was very narcissistic, but I didn't know he was. And so I moved to Germany for him, and well, for me and for him. And it was actually the best decision I made, because I had to learn that I was enough through that experience. And all these things happen, but I'm still glad that it happened, because then I got to learn some lessons, right? And so our tests can be our testimony sometimes. And so that's why I want to bring
Mhm.
these stories to people, so that I can say you're not alone. And so finally, I was trying to figure out what to do with myself, how to find a happier lifestyle. And I began modeling. And so, um, but during modeling, I always felt that I wasn't pretty enough, that I wasn't doing enough. I didn't have the right poses, you know. So I constantly was judging myself all the time, 24/7. And it's just so funny, because like people would say you're pretty or whatever, and I would like to hear that, but I wouldn't really believe it for myself. um and so
Mhm.
yeah, and so then I finally finished college, and I turned 23, 24. And oh, a little before that, I kind of audited out friends that weren't good for me. I started making better decisions for myself, and that's really, really important. And then I
Mhm.
was looking to be in business. I wanted to actually figure out my money, because I was in so much debt, it's ridiculous. And I constantly didn't want to talk about money. It was such a taboo
Mhm.
thing. I was in so much debt. I didn't understand money. I didn't understand the stock market, any of that stuff. It was so scary. And
Mhm.
I got sick and tired of being scared of it. I got sick and tired of not being in the business world and not feeling like I had my power, and sick and tired of bullying myself. And so eventually I found this group and of wonderful women that were very supportive. And I found my first mentor. And then they helped me with anxiety, and they helped me learn how not to take medication anymore, and how to love myself more, and all of these things that I'm wanting to teach other people. And yeah, so that's my story in a nutshell. I know it's a little long, but yeah.
No, it's totally fine. Yeah, thank you for sharing your story. Like I said, I love it. And, I think you didn't go into depth with it, but but if anyone's interested in asking, Megan more about her story, I'm sure she would be more than willing to talk to you guys about it and tell you a little bit more. Um, so I just gonna want to ask you a couple questions. So, what made you finally realize that you wanted a change in your life?
Yeah, so it was just being so sick and tired of not being happy, and sick and tired of um, being in social situations and feeling so much anxiety, and wanting that happiness. And just like I said, being sick and tired of the situation and wanting to change my life.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. And one more question. Um, what was the hardest thing about changing your life for you?
Well, we get so comfortable in our situation, right? We're so comfortable with the friends that we had. Like I stayed with those friends for 10 years, and they weren't great friends for me. Not that they were bad people, they just weren't the right fit for me.
Right.
And then relationships, you're constantly, how they have people say they go into the same cycle over and over again. It's because you're comfortable with those people. And so it's
Hmm.
mainly just getting out of your comfort zone and realizing that just because it's comfortable doesn't mean it's best for you, and making that change. And like, and I just really want to say this, we don't like what's uncertain and we don't like what's unknown, but as soon as you start to actually go towards those things that make you uncomfortable and what's unknown, eventually it doesn't seem so unknown anymore, because you tried it out. You tried out
Exactly.
what works for you, and what's new and scary and whatnot. And once you try it out, it's not as scary anymore.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, which, yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. That was one of the hardest things for me too, was being uncomfortable, getting out of what I was used to and trying something new, because it was
Hmm.
scary, because you're going into new uncharted territories that you've
Yeah.
never been in before, and that's scary, of course. But once start to continue to do that, then it's not so scary anymore, because then you get used to it, and then, like you say, once you start to do new things, then new doors start to open, new opportunities,
Oh yeah.
different people will start coming into your life, the right people will start coming into your life. And that's
Hmm.
exactly what happened for me. And it wasn't easy. It's not easy to make these changes, because these are breaking out of our habits and breaking
Yeah.
cycles. And breaking cycles doesn't happen overnight, but it just takes being conscious of it. And like Megan said, being willing to do the work to change. So thank
Hmm.
you for sharing that. And I know you wanted to mention some other a couple of things, right? You wanted like to add some tidbits or whatever. So you can go ahead and
Yeah.
yeah.
Just a few little things that I learned along the way, like, our mind, like the things that we say to ourselves, like, for example, I'm not pretty enough. We say that to ourselves, and so our mind is going to start looking for reasons to make that true. Oh, that one person said that to you. Oh, you must really not be pretty.
Mm-hmm.
All of these little things. And so, and the things that you put into your mind aren't necessarily things that, um how do I say this? Like, other people in your past have probably said it to you, so therefore your mind thinks it's true. And
Mm-hmm.
so they're not always real, the things that you think in your head. And that's so important to realize. And if you have that moment where you're thinking of things in the past, um, where was I going with that? I had a really, really good one. If you think, okay, so scratch that, whatever. So there's another thing. So like a lot of the times I did this. Oh my gosh. So every single morning I would think, I remember that one time in my past when I did that. Oh, so embarrassing. So we're constantly thinking in the past, and we're constantly reading the pages from our past. But so we're stuck in the past and we're reading the same thing over and over and over again. But we
Mm-hmm.
don't write the new pages and move on. And we need
Yes.
to move on. We're not there anymore. That's not happening anymore.
Yes.
And so that is something that I learned that I really, really wanted to share, because we have a new day every single day. We can make so many mistakes in that day, and those mistakes are for us. They happen to help us fail forward and grow, and that's what we want. Failing is actually a really, really good thing. It's not something
Yeah.
to fear.
Yes.
And yeah, so write the new pages, keep failing, it's totally okay, and you're going to get exactly to where you want to be.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I love what you said. You're right. It's our background, whether we've been through trauma or not, that doesn't define us. It's just a part of our story. And in my
Hmm.
opinion, it's a part of our story to help us get to you know, our end of our story, if you will,
Right.
or to our dreams or to our goals or whatever we're trying to accomplish. So that's definitely a good way to look at things, because, a lot of the bad things that happened to us were to teach us a lesson, not to keep us stuck there and like,
Exactly.
dwelling on it and, oh, woe is me. All these bad things happened to me. We could be stuck in that mindset like I was for the majority of my life. But this is why I
Mhm.
do the work I do, because I don't want women to spend the amount of time I spent being in victim mode, and to move past it and to move forward and to do better things with ourselves. And now I'm writing
Mhm.
a whole bunch of new chapters in my life, because I was able to overcome that and get out of that woe is me mentality, and
Yeah.
it's a game changer, guys, once you are
Totally.
finally ready to overcome that part of it, So thank you, Megan, so much for sharing your story. And
Yeah.
if anybody wants to reach out to you, where can they find you? Like your email, your social media handles, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, I'm here to help any of you. We're all sisters here, so you can just call me. Um, so I can give you my phone number. I don't know if you want to just give it to them in the email or if you want me to say it out loud here.
Yeah, you can say it out loud here, and then I'll also
Okay.
put it in like the notes. Yeah.
Okay, so my phone number is 949-421-7587. You can also check out my social media. So I have Instagram and Facebook. The Instagram is a little bit different. The Facebook is a little bit different, but they all have really awesome messages on there. So the Instagram is actually right here on my little name, right by my name. So that's Megara's Mindset. Megara is a childhood nickname. So
Mhm.
so it's Megara. So Megara's Mindset. That's my Instagram, and then Facebook, just Megan Dorsey.
Okay.
And then my email is meg.deanna, DEANNA .d@gmail.com. So you can contact me so many different ways, and it's going to be in her newsletter as well. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, all right. Thank you, Megan, so much for sharing and for being here and telling your story. I really appreciate that. And thank you, everyone, for watching. And again, if you guys, need help from me or Megan, or if you just want to learn more about And Rise and how we empower trauma survivors, please visit our website at www.womenrisechicago.org or reach me directly, Jennifer at womenrisechicago.org. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.
Bye bye.